Welcome back, troglodytes, to the Trogly's Guitar Show. Oh, you guys have been waiting for this one. The Zoot Suit Les Paul. This is a guitar of much controversy. There are probably more people that hate this guitar than they do love it. However, either way, you have to respect this monstrosity of a guitar. This is the Gobstopper Les Paul, the Avocado Les Paul, the Unicorn Rainbow Barf Les Paul, whatever you want to call it, it is a piece of Gibson history. The Les Paul Zoot Suit was made in 2013, and it followed the 5 different colored SGs that were made from 2009 until 2012. But what makes the Zoot Suit Les Paul different? I mean, besides the shape. You've got the exact same thing going on here. It is multiple layers of birch wood that are dyed different colors and then glued together. That's another name people like to call these guitars, is just pure glue. Because yes, there is a lot of glue that makes this guitar up. Now, I counted all the layers. I got 26 layers to this body. And the neck, including the headstock wings, is 45 pieces. Counting the layers of each of the Zoot Suit guitars has kind of been fun for the collection, just to compare it, because the Gibson website simply says multiple pieces. They don't have a set amount. The other SG that I counted had 25 layers to the body and 46 to the neck. So you're looking at an average of around 25 here and 45 here. That is a lot of layers of glue. All these layers of wood, it weighs about 9.5 pounds. Now, since this is based on a Les Paul Special and not a studio, your body is nowhere near as thick as a regular Les Paul Standard. So 9.5 pounds is really chunky for a special Les Paul like this. They do still have that belly carved to them. That's how they get the layers of wood to show. But they do not have the concaved back like the SGs do. This one, they decided just to do this comfort cutaway here to show a gobstopper right there. But what makes the Les Paul even more special, and why I consider this a highly collectible guitar, is this one was actually limited in production. I believe the number made was 400, whereas the SGs were not a limited production. I really do see these guitars reaching $5,000 within the next 5 or 10 years, because they're hard to find. People who have these, they don't want to give them away for cheap money anymore. You have to convince them to sell. And it's not because everybody finds these things beautiful. Sometimes it's just the collectability factor of a really weird Gibson guitar. The Les Paul version also differs from the SGs because it has a completely different setup of pickups here. The SGs, they've got the 496R 500T, which are hot ceramic pickups. So that makes them great for playing metal, but when you need a sweet blues machine, that's when you come to this guy. You've got a traditional Gibson P90 in the neck. You don't have any of this sidewinder stuff. You're not a stacked P90 for getting rid of hum or anything. It's finally just a traditional Gibson P90 pickup. And then you have the 498T bridge pickup. Now, what's nice about the 498T that I've come to find is it does the classic rock thing well. It's got a little bit more bite to it than a PAF, so it really can do some attacking metalish stuff as well, but this guitar is just a really nice blues machine. In Gibson history, 2011, 2012, 2013, that's kind of a big change year for Gibson, because 2011 is when they got raided, and their wood was taken, and the government just got really strict with them on how they were getting their wood. So that's when things like Richlight started to come into play. And here's something else that I did not know. It's the Les Pauls only that got a quick connect system. I did not realize these had that PCB board in them until this one. As I had mentioned in previous SG videos, the collection I purchased had issues with all their toggle switches. Now thankfully, after doing some additional cleaning and just letting them sit for a while, most of them, they came out okay, and I didn't actually have to replace them. This is the only one where I ended up breaking the toggle switch, hoping that I could fix it, because I thought there was just a connection issue, so I kept bending the prongs until I finally just bent it too much where it just didn't work at all. So I found out it was quick connect. I was instantly pleased because, hey, I just happened to have a spare quick connect that would be error correct, and I can just, plug it in and be good to go. And then I go to take out the wire for the 3-way toggle switch, and it doesn't fit through the cavity route. So I did all that for nothing. I thought, oh great, I don't have to solder, I don't have to do anything like that, I can't possibly mess up. And it turns out I still had to do the soldering work. And besides the touched up solder joints, this is the exact same switch that was in this guitar. I just unsoldered it from another quick connect. So that's kind of a fun story with this one. That's the only thing that keeps this guitar from being completely original. But as I've been sitting with this guitar, I like to think of crazy ways to use this, because you can't play this guitar at just any gig. You have to dress to be complimentary to this, and there's this lady on YouTube that knew exactly what she was doing. Whenever I think Zoot Suit Les Paul, I think of that lady and her eccentric fashion choice. So go give that lady some love on her video. She loves her Zoot Suit. But I was also thinking what would have been really cool for Gibson to have done is, instead of a set neck construction, do a neck through. Because then on the back you would have this rainbow going all the way through the guitar. And then on the front you would kind of have that spotlight special thing going on, where you'd have the rainbow going down the front and then these other rainbows. That might make it look really ugly, and that does ruin the best part of the Avocado, but oh well. Speaking of making this guitar just grotesquely over the top, I do have an original run Billy Joe Les Paul Jr., so I thought, hey, let's put this in the leopard print case. So I posted some photos of that to my Instagram, and it seemed most people thought that was over the top. But hey, if you're gonna do this guitar, you've gotta be an eccentric person. So overall, the Zoot Suit Les Paul, while they definitely upset people when it was first introduced, and yes, they were a lot cheaper brand new than they sell for used today, but I truly do believe we will only see these things go up to crazy dollar amounts, simply because they are so limited and the people who own them do not want to sell them. As far as a guitar goes, you could get like a Les Paul Futura and get very similar tones, maybe technically even better, because they have the same setup. Something like an original run of the BFG would also have a P90 humbucker combo. So unless you really dig the colors, this is more of a collector's instrument at this point, but I really dig these guitars. There's just something goofy about them. So now that we've learned a little bit about the Avocado Les Paul, let's go ahead and hear how it sounds. we know how this guitar sounds, let's go ahead and review its condition. Of the Zoot Suits in the complete collection that I purchased, this is the one where that guy was the original owner. He says he bought this one from Sweetwater. There's really not any wear on this guitar. He said that he never really even touched it. It was more of a collector's piece for him. And that's very evident in the condition of this guitar. The frets show next to no wear. The body, I don't know, there might be a few small picking scratches. I mean, this thing's not 100% mint. I'm not going to advertise it as that because it has been played very briefly by me for the playing demo. So you're going to have some light picking scratches as well as some smudges on like the pickup covers and whatnot, but no major damage. I could not see any collector not being in love with this example. Back of the headstock, our serial number looks like 135421-690, made in USA, 2013 model. You've got your Grover tuners, and I would consider this one more of a 60s, almost 60s medium profile to it. It's a lot slimmer than the SGs that have the 50s neck profile. There's no major areas of wear on the neck. The only thing that I think could be technically seen as a blemish is along the side of the fretboard here. You can see some minor impression marks. I'm not quite sure what caused those. They might just be like a tooling mark from the factory, but they are there, and that is the side you see while you are playing the instrument. So, it's good to know that it is there. Back of the guitar, something else I would consider a minor flaw in this guitar is they didn't quite dye this an even purple color. You can see you've kind of got this area right here where the birch didn't take the stain or just didn't get enough. And then this area is a lot darker than that one. So this example doesn't have the best staining on the back, but hey, this one is available for sale if you're looking for a Zoot Suit. There's not necessarily any buckle rash or worming marks, just average light play wear. These guitars are finished in a satin finish, so it's not a glossy vibe at all on these guitars. So this one is definitely collector's grade. Again, you just kind of have those light impressions along the neck from whatever that was, but everything else on this one is solid. Now we'll do a blacklight test. The finish isn't really glowing simply because it hasn't seen the sun too much, but the colors are changing hues. This really reminds me of like blacklight paint when it changes colors on your face or something. So this guitar is kind of cool under blacklight here, but no breaks, cracks, or repairs or touch-ups. I would love to see a repaired neck Zoot Suit because this is probably the absolute strongest neck that Gibson has ever built. I mean, it is, 45 pieces? The next contender to that is a 5-piece maple neck. So everything is looking good on this example. For whatever reason, Gibson issued these guitars, all of the Zoot Suits, in gig bags, and that is such an insult. So I've upgraded that to a Gibson USA case here. It's got some wear along the outside, but the inside is definitely still clean. All latches are functioning, as well as the combo lock. Inside is a charcoal gray interior. I almost think this guitar would look better in a white interior case. I might have one of those. I could swap it out for you as well, but this is probably the nicer case. You also have some of the original paperwork for this guitar. This is the inspection sheet, as well as Sweetwater's 55-point evaluation back when it was new. If you think you might be interested in being the next owner of this Zoot Suit Les Paul, make sure you check out that link in the description that will take you to the for sale ad of this guitar. Thank you, troglodytes, for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video with a friend who would enjoy it, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.